Have you ever settled for spiritual scraps, believing that the bare minimum of God's grace, just enough to get by, is the most you can expect? It is easy to feel like an outsider looking in, but the very place you feel the most marginalized might be the exact spot where a lavish feast is currently being prepared. We saw previously how Ruth's steady, quiet faithfulness in the fields caught Boaz's attention. She wasn't seeking the spotlight. She was simply doing the work in front of her. To understand the shift that's coming, look at where she started. By custom, foreign gleaners like Ruth were restricted to the extreme borders of the field. They picked through the stalks that the main harvesters left behind in the dust. This marginal provision was the strict limit of the law. In that culture, allowing the poor to scavenge those thin edges was already considered highly generous by human standards. But Boaz is about to demonstrate a level of favor that goes far beyond this human baseline. He is looking past the requirements of the law toward the needs of the person. We often accept this kind of survival mode as our spiritual baseline. We stay at the edges, perhaps unaware that a different invitation is about to be extended. In a move that likely shocked the reapers, Boaz calls this foreign outsider from the dusty margins to his shaded table. He says, "Take this bread and dip your piece in the vinegar," sharing the exact meal his own workers are eating. This wasn't just a snack, it was a profound statement of acceptance. By seating her directly beside the reapers, Boaz publicly moved her from the fringe to a place of protection. He personally serves her the parched corn, ensuring she eats until she is completely satisfied, with enough food left over to carry home to Naomi. When the meal ends, Boaz gives his men secret instructions. He tells them to let her glean right among the prime, bundled sheaves, the very center of the field, and ensures no one rebukes her for being there. Then he adds a final detail. He orders his men to deliberately pull stalks of grain from the bundles and drop them on the ground specifically for her. He calls these handfuls of purpose, extra blessings placed directly in her path. Boaz provides for her immediate hunger and then coordinates the entire environment for her benefit. This is a deliberate shift, moving Ruth from the status of a beggar to that of a guest who is expected and welcome at the table. That field in Bethlehem is a mirror for your own spiritual life today. If you are a child of God, you are no longer an outsider picking through the leftovers. You are already spiritually seated with Christ at his table. While you rest and feast with him, he is working behind the scenes, dropping those handfuls of purpose into your path to ensure your needs are met. But remember the goal of his provision. The grace and rest God sets for you is not intended for you to consume alone. Spiritual feeding is designed to generate an overflow. When you are satisfied at God's table, you gain the emotional capacity to turn around and serve the people in your life. Take a moment to evaluate your current spiritual posture. Are you actively accepting the invitation to feast, or are you still scavenging at the edges because you don't feel worthy to sit down? I urge you to accept the invitation today, and then look for a way to become a physical channel of that blessing by extending the same grace to someone else. Tomorrow, we'll see exactly what happens when Naomi witnesses the result of this divine orchestration and experiences the first real harvest of Boaz's generosity. Resting in Christ's provision is the starting point. When we truly receive his grace, it naturally spills over into a legacy of generosity and shared redemption.